Plaintiff Tyler Atterbury and his girlfriend's mother, Ann Hall, say when Tyler was 12, he was prescribed sleeping pills, and he soon became addicted. Since having 2 children, Tyler has been trying to stay on the straight and narrow, and he's suing his girlfriend's father for the cost of a truck. Defendant Edward Starr says he grew up in the streets of Chicago, and he ended up in a gang and addicted to drugs. Edward insists as of today, he's been clean for 200 days, and he denies owing Tyler for anything.
Start with you.
All right, I'm 19 years old. I struggled with addiction for a majority of my life since I was 12 when I got prescribed Zoloft as a sleeping medication, and struggled with it since then up until 2019.
Now, how does that relate to illicit drugs or illegal drugs?
It started the outward spiral of harder drugs than sleeping medication. I got addicted to the sleeping medication and started abusing it at a young age.
Okay. Zoloft is for sleeping? I thought
that's what they prescribed it to me for.
Okay, not Ambien or anything?
No.
So they don't prescribe enough. I guess you grow a tolerance to it?
That's exactly what it is, Your Honor.
I've developed a tolerance to a sleeping supplement.
Really?
Yeah. I have to sleep or stay in the bed 9 hours to get 7 hours worth of sleep. Okay. I wake up in the middle of the night, can't go back for 2.5, 3. Wow. Take what used to be an effective supplement that might give me another hour at the most. So I'm really struggling right now. Wow. That's why I come in late every day. For those who don't know, for the staff, that's why, y'all. I'm sorry. And y'all don't want me when I haven't slept because I'm mean. That's why I'm late. Y'all want me late or mean?
Late.
Thanks, y'all. Right. She say late. Even she added it. All right. So no, that's why I'm trying to get my arms around Zoloft. The first time I've heard it used for sleeping medication, and I know how the same amount won't work anymore. But I ain't taking more of that. I'm just finding other ways. Natural supplement to the supplement. So I was just doing everything. But you, in your case, you just decided I just like take more and more, and then it became, well, let me get the street drug.
Exactly, Your Honor.
And even let me sleep and nod or whatever happens when I did the Zoloft. It happens 3 times that.
Exactly.
On another drug. And so that's how your addiction problem came.
Yes, it was.
Ma'am, is that about right?
I haven't known him that long, but I've seen him cleaning himself up.
Okay, good.
I'm 19 years old. I struggled with addiction for a majority of my life since I was 12 when I got prescribed Zoloft as a sleeping medication, and struggled with it since then up until 2019.
Now, how does that relate to illicit drugs or illegal drugs?
It started the outward spiral of harder drugs than sleeping medication. I got addicted to the sleeping medication and started abusing it at a young age.
Defendant Edward Starr is being sued by his daughter's boyfriend, who claims he became a drug addict after he was prescribed sleeping pills at the age of 12.
So you tell me more about yourself.
After the addiction, my grandfather had passed away and I had gotten incarcerated, which helped me come off the drugs a lot easier than other things. And then I had my first child, and then not even a full year later, I'd had my second one, which really put life into perspective for me.
Good.
And after that, I've really been trying to get everything together in my life and make sure I can have my kids full times and also work.
Good. You seem very sincere, and you seem very determined, and hopefully you can keep that strength and determination, and congratulations to you, your disposition, if nothing else. And your testimony, if nothing else, says that. Now, you might leave here and nod for 3 days straight and say, I put that game on the judge. He say he'd known the game, but I tricked his behind this time. Give me a few hits and I'm going to nod for 3 days. But for right now, you appear very sincere and you sound very determined, and you come across like you're committed to living a clean and prosperous life, and I congratulate you. So where do you know the defendant from?
I'm actually with his daughter.
That's my ex-husband. That's my daughter as well, he's dating.
What has your relationship been like with your girlfriend's dad?
At first, it was very okay. It went smoothly. And then about the first 3.5 months in, it just kept getting better. And whenever I went to him for help, he had helped me, is what I had thought. And after the first day, I had got it across the street to my house. And
Well, you're talking about the incident at hand, the truck that you're suing about. I was trying to find out the general nature of the relationship has been good.
yeah, everything has
Good.
been all right, Your
We
Honor.
hear from you, sir.
I grew up here in the streets of Chicago, and I lived a hard life. Ended up in the gangs, with an addiction, and
Still struggling?
yeah, no, I'm doing better. But
Come on now. Go ahead, though. If you want to tell me you ain't struggling no more, go ahead.
well, I'm always gonna struggle. Yeah, sure, I understand that.
With the addiction.
With the addiction, yes.
Go ahead.
I'm grateful that I didn't make it into the Cook County Jail, but I should have been there. We're growing up here, and all the bad stuff I've been done in my life. And then my mom, when I was 18, she made me move to Wisconsin with her to try to make a better life. But the gangs and stuff, that went away, but the addiction stayed for 2 decades. And then back in April, about April 22nd, I decided I was going to better myself, and I found God, and I've been clean today for 200 days.
200 days?
Yes, sir. And then I decided to move to Missouri because my daughter was living there, and she's my world, so, you know.
Sir, your disposition and your demeanor seem like you've been getting high very recently, like right now or last night or a few hours ago. I know you're going to say no or what have you. My other question is, over the 20 years, how many times did you go to rehab?
No.
Right, so I have no pity for you, and I have no sympathy, and all this, that's game. Until you say, I'm ready to go to rehab, Judge, can you help me with that? All that other, I've been doing for 20 years, I've been doing, you ain't done nothing your best. You've done nothing but continue to get high for 20 years and hurt people around you and hurt society probably. Because if over those 20 years, if you never went one time to rehab, meaning you didn't care. You didn't care what was happening to you. You didn't care what was happening to your family. You didn't care what was happening to the victims. You didn't care about nothing for 20 years. So I'm not going with that. Judge, I'm really trying, and I have. I'm not going to let you insult my game, man. You've done nothing but continue to get high for 20 years and hurt people around you and hurt society probably. Because if over those 20 years, if you never went one time to rehab, meaning you didn't care. You didn't care what was happening to you. You didn't care what was happening to your family. You didn't care what was happening to the victims. You didn't care about nothing for 20 years. So I'm not going with that. Judge, I'm really trying, and I have. I'm not going to let you insult my game, man.
Defendant Edward Starr is being sued by his daughter's boyfriend, who claims he became a drug addict after he was prescribed sleeping pills at the age of 12.
Go ahead, sir. Tell me how this lawsuit came about.
Well, see, I was looking for a reliable vehicle because I'm trying to get full custody of my children. And at the moment, I didn't have a vehicle, and I had $2,000 that I had got from my settlement check for being in a wreck. So I had went to him thinking that there was a reliable vehicle, which it was for the day. It ran until I got it home, and then the next day it has not.
Tell me the agreement on the purchase between the
It's
two of them.
$2,000 cash, and
What
I
type
could
of
have
car?
The truck.
What? Tell me.
It's a 1996 Chevy C15
96.
pickup truck.
Mm-hmm. And you purchased it when?
I purchased it around October, anywhere from October 15th to 13th. I'm not exactly sure what the exact date is.
Okay. And what happened the day after or the day of? Did you look at it? Did you
the
turn
day
it on
of,
before buying it?
The day of, it ran perfectly. It seemed like there was nothing wrong with it. It seemed like an okay truck. And then the day after, it has not ran since. It's been stuck, taking up space, and I just need a
Did you
reliable.
find out what was wrong with it?
I'm pretty sure the oil pan in it has a whole bunch of metal shavings, and on top of that, there's alternator problems.
Pretty sure.
Yeah,
Where did you
it's
get your information?
from the Jiffy Lube in Missouri.
They said it then.
Yeah.
You know, pretty sure.
Yeah.
They said. Jiffy Lube said that there are what?
Metal shavings in the oil pan.
Okay.
Then
And what did they say that does? I know zero about
it
mechanics.
actually blows the engine and can throw a rod through it.
Sounds like that might be the case.
Yeah.
And how would he have known, however, that there was a problem? Does the
there's
engine
a-
knock? I do know that. I ruined a couple of engines, and they told me that sound I used to ask about was the engine was knocking because you didn't have any oil in it. Or the other time I didn't have any water in there, water in the, I don't even know the name. What do you call it? Where you put the car, no.
Yeah, the radiator.
Radiator, yeah. Another time they say it kept smoking because you put stuff in the red. And I said, what's that red light? Well, that red light says oil. How long has that been on? 3-4 months. You want to know why your engine is gone. All right, so at least you're not like me. You do know that service can cause it. All right, I didn't know that. All right, and when you called him about it, what did he say?
He said the truck was perfectly fine, that there was nothing wrong with it. It has been perfectly fine from the day that I bought it and before then.
How long after purchasing it did you call him?
I called for the first week after.
No, did you call the next day? Because that's
Yes,
when you
I
said
actually
you
did.
noticed.
Yes, I did.
Called the next day.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And sir, let me hear from you on this.
I sold it as is, and he called. Yes, it was a week later when he called me.
He said a day, you say a week. It's a big difference. And as it relates to whether the car was fit for operation as it should have been when you sold it to him. Not good condition, fit for operating. I'm sure there were no guarantees. Were there any guarantees?
No guarantees.
The condition? Right. So
Only
that
a
means,
running vehicle.
Right. So that is as is. However, it has to at least be operable, meaning intended for the use of which it was purchased. And one day later, I'm not sure I would conclude that's operable. But if it lasted more than a week, you might have done something within that week. That's why this is so important, the dates. Can anybody have any evidence of the dates that you purchased and then called?
Actually, I do not have any of the...
You have evidence of the first outreach to you regarding the car not working?
No, sir.
No text, no communications at all?
Uh,
You have something you wanted to say, ma'am?
Actually, Tyler
Tyler.
lives with me. He dates my daughter. He parked the truck and it would not start the next day. So I was proof that it wouldn't start.
Okay. You have an eyewitness, and that's going to have to make the determination. But you are his ex?
His ex-wife, yes.
Oh, what you think? I ain't taking your testimony. I'm glad you're glad she ain't in here saying that you cut her or making up some other stuff. Your ex-wife in here testifying against you.
Defendant Edward Starr is being sued by his daughter's boyfriend, who claims he became a drug addict after he was prescribed sleeping pills at the age of 12.
So I'm going to discount your testimony. Unless you tell me the truth about him. You dope fiend?
He has been coming clean. He's been going to meetings.
Okay. How long were you all married?
I got married back in 2005 with him, and we got divorced in 2012
Okay, so
I
you
left
were
him,
able to
though.
see. Why wasn't he going to rehab?
because he was in and out of jail.
All right, but you could have gotten rehabilitation in jail and then go to NA meetings when you come out.
I don't know. He was too busy sleeping with my cousin on my mom's side and my cousin on my dad's side.
See, that's what I meant by all the people you hurt. And all that was this thought distortion from those drugs. Normal circumstance, you wouldn't do anything like that. That's what I meant by you've been hurting people with your drug use. That's a key example. And she didn't even care whether you healed or not because of the way you were hurting her. And so I'm going to accept her testimony as credible and therefore grant you your judgment of $2,000. And sir, you can talk to the producer and they'll offer you some additional help, but I'm just not inclined to really talk to you about your situation right now because I don't think you would be honest, and you seem pretty vulnerable today, so I don't want to pick through your testimony and make you feel bad. So I'm just going to tell you, if you want help, talk to our producers, all right? Because it sounds like, you know, you kind of want to be clean, but you can't. I'm trying, but it ain't working. I still lie a little bit about it to make people think I'm still trying my best. So we don't need to go through all that because that's what I think I'm hearing. And instead, you work it out. When you're ready for us to help you with your commitment, we'll be glad to, all right? Judgment for the plaintiff in the meantime, $2,000.
I hope we can get over this. I love you to death with all my heart.
I hope we can get over this too. And Dad just wanted to get to know you more because you were my daughter and she's my world.
Most definitely.
I know he keep going in with his recovery. He's doing good.